Hey everyone, Camelot331 here, and I'm back for another GameStop story. Another trip into the nightmare that is GameStop. And this time we're going to talk about the annual meeting in Las Vegas. GameStop conference is what they called it. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the annual meeting that GameStop managers, store leaders, because we're a family, would go to. This took place in Las Vegas every year up until around 2016 when they wanted to save money. So we went to San Antonio and Anaheim, California. Woo. Everything closed at 9 and there was just the homeless people. That was the biggest attraction in San Antonio and Anaheim, was the homeless people. That's it. It was great. Now, these annual meetings or conference was basically an excuse to brag about how much money the company had made in the form of extremely high up, or bigwigs in the company, standing up on stage and having zero stage presence and charisma. You know, saving money on entertaining speakers and tooting their own horn in the process. It was also an excuse to party heavily and witness things that you wouldn't have believed unless you saw it with your naked eye. In the more recent years I was there, I vividly remember all the bigwigs just getting booed off stage. Mainly for how terrible their decisions were basically up until this point. Whether it was cutting store leaders' bonuses to basically nothing, or lowering store leaders from salary to hourly, completely destroying all morale across company, let alone with their scheduling and their freedoms they had prior. It always seemed like it was GameStop's first idea, when they were lacking in profits in a quarter, was to just punish the store leader. You know, the guy that was directly responsible for the profit. Let's punish that guy. It'll go great. Great idea, GameStop. Great idea. Every year at conference, there was a new slogan. Some kind of slogan that involved game or future. Like a play on words that kind of been like, oh, this is what we're going to focus on this year. So I believe, I'm not sure which year this was. This was the future in focus. GameStop. Look at all the little people. This is the agenda. This is what we were doing in the agenda. And then there's ads, of course. You know, because ads. I like ads. This one doesn't have a slogan. I guess they didn't care this year. I like this right here. Coming this fall, the Power Up Elite Pro membership. Yeah, that lasted all of what, like 6 months? You ain't getting 20% off this game today, son. That's just too much off. One year we were there, and the slogan was called Empowered Leadership. We could make the stores look how we wanted. We could schedule the associates and ourselves how we wanted. Basically, complete freedom to encourage us to run our own business. You know? Now, I know what you're thinking. It seems great. It seems great, right? Well, it lasted all but about 2 weeks before we were getting drilled because a headset was in the wrong row in a section, or the blue DualShock was to the left of the red DualShock. Something was slightly out of place. So that went away real fast, as you can imagine, because the whole point is extreme micromanaging, and GameStop could never deviate away from that. They just couldn't. That's the whole point of the company, was to micromanage everything as much as possible. So that went down the drain almost as soon as it was spoken. It was like empowered leadership. Never mind. Give us power-up cards, you're fired. That 1-year warranty on that game? It better be on the Mexican guy's transaction. I know he couldn't say no or yes, but you give it to him anyway. Another part of the GameStop conference was the expo, where us leaders could go into the expo and like play games that were not released yet, or patches for games or expansions for games, stuff like that. And there was like a lot of booths. Like I tried Project Morpheus before it was VR at the time, which was really cool. And you get to meet a lot of designers. You get to hang out with those designers, actors. I met Ed Boon. I met Stan Lee one time. I met the Ultimate Warrior, the wrestler. One time I met George Lynch, the guitarist from Dokken, and he let me play with him. And I got to play as M1 Tiger. It was really cool. It was really massive and it was really cool. It really dwindled down the last few years I was there to where there was almost nothing. I mean, I think the last year I went in, I didn't even hang out but like 30 minutes because there was just nothing in there. It was just so vacant of everything because GameStop didn't hold the market share anymore. So these companies see no reason in showing up because Amazon. If there was an Amazon conference, everybody's gonna be there. There's gonna be toilet paper everywhere, and there's gonna be like eggs, and there'll be video games as well, and there'll be like used cheeseburgers for some reason. I mean, there'll be all kinds of stuff. So one part of conference that I really enjoyed was meeting like-minded people. I met so many awesome people when I was in Vegas. Everyone kind of held the same disdain there at the end. So all the leaders were kind of in agreement. It's like, wow, this is terrible. Everything is terrible. Why are we still here? Well, it's because we're in Vegas and we're partying. That's why we're still here. Actually, I want to refer back to something I said earlier where people were booing the high-ups just off the stage because they're just giving us bad news after bad news. They're going to punish us, take our bonuses away, lower our pay, all kinds of stuff like that. And then they would hide it under the fact that, well, the store leader is responsible for our profit. So the fact that we are underperforming in profit directly falls on the store leader's shoulders. Those are exact words that we got. It fell directly on the store leader's shoulders. So they would punish us. And I remember people, when we were basically in lines for shuttle buses to go home, saying to me they have already put their 2 weeks notice in. And I mean like over 100 people. I couldn't imagine on a bigger scale how many people left. And just to put that in perspective, the district I worked in, we were known as like the legacy district. All of our managers had been basically with the company for 10 or more years. That same district now has 2 or 3 managers left out of the 17 stores that were in there. Everyone has left. Everyone. So it was always really cool being able to talk to these people that shared the same opinion as you and were like, yeah, we are really getting screwed over here. This is terrible. And see basically what everybody thought kind of about what was going on, the environment. One time I was sitting on a bench next to a charging station, and they had put charging stations in that year, which was really cool. And this beautiful girl walks up and sits beside me, and I ask her if she wants to use the charging station that I was, using. And she looked at me and smiled with this huge smile, and what a beautiful smile she had. It was unreal. It was just it would just light you up, like instantly make you, I guess, feel better. Which made me feel better because I was in a bad mood because GameStop was like, you guys suck. So her smile made me feel awesome. So as she sat beside me, I asked her if she needed the charging station that I was using. And she looked at me and smiled and said, no, but I'll take some of you. And then she just laughed hysterically. And then I laughed nervously. It was great. I'm such a mess. I had no idea what was going on because no one said anything like that, which was really cool. No one's ever said that kind of thing. Well, we ended up hitting it off and spending the rest of conference together, and we had a really awesome friendship, after that. And she was a really cool person, to have met in Vegas, and I was just honored to have met her. So, I really miss her. She was really cool. Now, for every good experience at conference, there comes a really bad one. So I always room with this really big guy. And when I say big, I mean big. We'll call him Egg. Well, me and one of the other store leaders from the same district I was in, which she can't be named because she still works there, we'll call her Gooby. She was in my room and we were drinking with Egg. And Egg was a champion. He could eat anything, he could drink anything. I mean, nothing fazed this man. An entire bottle of bourbon, gone. All him, gone. But this night, he got wasted. Well, another one of the store leaders from our same district ended up calling Gooby, asking where our room was. Much to my dismay, she told her, and this girl showed up. Now this girl, we'll call her Fupa, F-U-P-A, was really, really big, and she was completely wasted. And around the time she showed up, my roommate Egg was pissing in the corner of the hotel room in the Venetian in Las Vegas. I'm sorry, Venetian staff. I apologize. Then he proceeded to run down the hallway naked. 500 pounds of flapping glory. Straight up butter golem, just running full speed down this hallway in the Venetian. So naturally I had to go wrangle him so he doesn't get fired, while Gooby wrangled Fupa, and we all eventually made our way back into the room. Me and Gooby were pretty much sober at this point, as you can imagine. And we felt pretty safe because everybody was wrangled. No one was gonna get fired. It was all good. Well, all of a sudden, Egg and Fupa started having one-ton sex, which was quite the sight, and I was way too afraid to witness this, so I hid under the covers with Gooby. All you could hear was slapping. What was slapping? I don't know, but I have a pretty good idea. At one point, the sound abruptly stopped, so I peeked out of the cover just to see these two giant thighs just staring at me. Then the covers just ripped off me, and he threw Fupa at my bed. I screamed and I jumped out of the bed with Gooby and just ran as Egg just chased us, and Fupa just passed the hell out. Completely. And then she fell into the floor. Legend has it she's still laying there, because she was so gone. Upon further inspection, I noticed that there was poo and blood all over my bed, where Fupa had been briefly. I don't know what Egg did to her, but it must have been so violent. Like, what the hell, man? So Gooby ended up going back to her room, and I got a pillow, and I just slept in the hallway. And every now and then, you'd hear distant screams coming from the room, so I have no idea what was going on. I honestly didn't think I would survive that night. That was one of the worst memories I ever had at GameStop conference. I mean, Egg usually just got hookers, and he would ask me to leave the room, which is fine. I'll leave the room for your hookers. But not this time. This time it was apparently personal. You know, I actually really enjoyed that part of my life when I think back to it. Even with how terrible the upper management got there at the end, it was always just really fun flying to Vegas on the company dime and just going absolutely insane. That was awesome. So until next time, like, comment, or subscribe. If you like this really garbage content, I'll keep giving it to you. Get on it, doggone it, and make sure you focus your future. Focus it. Because if you don't focus it, then your stock price will continue to go down until it's below $5.